the relationship with Drake and Nicki Minaj and Wayne has definitely changed years. Nicki was vocal whenever they felt like Wayne got snubbed for the Super Bowl.
Yep.
He was vocal then, but it's like, yo, where is Wayne and Nicki whenever Drake got this, this going on? I just kind of just peeped that. So I'm like, it's something there. I don't know what it is, but it's something.
No cap, just facts when the vibe feel right. You can do it big, but can you do it on sight? Fall through and kick it for a few.
We already off and running though. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Another episode of the OnSight Media Group podcast. OnSight Media Group podcast. Let me say it correct. You got Antrell, you got Cash, bringing you content for the culture. We got a lot to talk about today. Today is going to be an interesting show, I believe. From the mainstream standpoint, we've already started out on fire, so we're gonna continue to stay right there. We talking Lil Wayne because the Carter 6 has dropped. Listen, in order to keep up with the latest content, knowing we're dropping new episodes, new podcasts, new material, make sure you are subscribed. OnSight Media Group on YouTube. Follow us on all social media platforms at OnSight Media Group. Make sure you click that notification bell so you know every single time that we drop new content on the channel, all right? I think the question I want to debate I want to ask is, a lot of people have Wayne in the GOAT conversation or their top 5 conversation. I don't think it's much of a debate that he should be there. For me, Wayne is, when it comes to the sport of rap, hip hop, like you definitely cannot overlook him. His wordplay is almost spectacular. Been doing it for a very long time. I can't sit here and say everybody is a freestyler, but we know Wayne doesn't write. He is truly coming off the top of his head. It's not a lot that can play the sport in that manner. So it's like, where should he be? I think that's the question that I would pose. It's not that he is not in the debate. It's, where should he be? Should he have a top 3 spot? A top 5? I think a top 5 spot, definitely. And even me listening to this project, I would have to reevaluate my top 5 because, again, the craftsmanship that I've heard through this new Carter 6 record, paying homage to hip hop greats, the way that he's sampling some of these classics from our era, specifically like the Band from TV record. Who was that? It was a bunch of people on that record. I believe it was a Noriega record though. And if I remember correctly, somebody please correct me if I'm saying this wrong, but I believe Swiss Beats did that track. But I think the name of the record is No Band or Band No or something. Band No. Bells. He samples LL Cool J's Rock the Bells. Like, and then even with his cadence, he pays homage to LL with the way he comes in. And does his chorus on that song. So again, for me, the question would be, where should Lil Wayne be in the top 5, top 3 conversation? I'm gonna let you answer that.
See, for me, it's really how you look at it, right? Because I think it's always so much debating when it comes to doing lists, because it's how it's interpreted, right? And I think those lists can go by who's the most popular, who's the most lyrical, who's the most influential, right? And then it also can go by who's been the most innovative to the game. I think that Wayne's position on all of those lists has been very high, right? I think when it goes to like being like lyrical, um, obviously there's a lot of like lyrical conscious rappers that are really deep, but Wayne will always fall under like punchlines, like
True. True.
punchline. Wayne will punch you in your face in the song
Facts.
because he's gonna come punchline after punchline. Um, so I think that within like we just looking at like punchlines, he's one of the greatest punchline rappers of all times. Um, when you think about being like the hottest, obviously during like Wayne's era of I want to say 2006 to 2012, Wayne was easily the number one hottest artist, hands down, around. I think coming into like, more modern day times of him getting held up with the Carter Five, because that was held up. Carter Five was supposed to come out in 2013, and we didn't get it until like 18, 19.
I don't know. We can look it up though.
Yeah, it was just right here. Let me see.
I would definitely say while you look that up that for me, Lil Wayne basically revamped or made the mixtape era great. Not saying he was the first to ever do a mixtape, but we know the run of mixtapes that he did. Was it the no ceiling tapes and like he inspired more artists to want to do a mixtape.
Yes.
And I always heard like you said, he's the king or the GOAT of the punchlines. But then when it came to the albums, they felt like it was lackluster. For me, I personally think he gave you so much substance on the mixtapes. You expected the same thing in an album when, for me, an album is structured differently. Right? It's more, for me, thought put into the album, to the actual songs that you sync together to create this flow overall, whether it's subject matter, whether it's just catchy records.
What Wayne did was Wayne actually, took his mixtape style from 50 Cent, right? What 50 Cent did, which helped him get in the game, was he basically jacked beats. All the hottest songs out, he took the hottest songs and he took them and he made completely different songs. And his goal was to make the song better than using the beat to make a better song than what the original artist did. Wayne took that and instead of trying to make his own song, he went on the theme of the song and went harder than what the artist was going in their own song. And that was like really driven into his brand, and that draw people to be like, "Well, I'm going to listen to Wayne." So it was his mixtapes were just always, always crazy, always dope. And it was like when a new song come out, this was whatever the catchy song is, we knew that hey, Wayne's gonna kill this. Whenever the next mixtape come out, Wayne's gonna go off on this. And that's one of the things that made Wayne, as popular as he was, especially during like my era, because everybody wanted to be Lil Wayne. That's when I started seeing the dreads come out, on the gang type time. Everybody wanted to be a blood and all that type of stuff like that. And Wayne was influential, for that. And it was definitely the mixtapes, like the dedications, especially the dedication to the drought is over, the droughts, and then the drought is over, which is two different series of mixtapes, and then he started doing like the no ceilings, like they were just very anticipated albums, and whatnot, to where Wayne is probably the most influential artist of all time, because you have so many was it carbon copies of Wayne that's like, in the industry, Young Thug. And if you think about like how you just can do a chart, you go Young Thug, from Young Thug, you got Gunna, you got Lil Baby. And they kind of play their sound off of Young Thug, who play his sound off a version of Wayne. That expand out and go all different type of ways. A lot of the sounds that we hear, in music, even still to the day, even Wayne said it. He said they all his children.
I don't disagree with that at all. I don't disagree with that at all. Yeah, Wayne is big for the culture. So, what do you think? What do you think the perception of this album is gonna be?
I think because of like it was so much like anticipation for Carter 5 when it came out. Um, I don't think it met what everybody felt like it should have been. Not realizing like this album was held up for 5 years. So within 5 years, things changed. I think if the album would have came out originally, it would have, you know, it would have been what everybody expected it to be. But I think it being held up and it not necessarily reaching what everybody expected it to be. I think, coming back with this one, I've heard Wayne over the past few years. Some of the songs he's been on, it's like, yo, that sounds like the old Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I don't necessarily know if a lot of people put like a lot of weight on this one. Like I knew it was coming, but like, you come in and saying it came out, today, I'm like, oh man, I wish I knew. I'd have been listening to it on the way coming here, if I
Right.
knew, so I wasn't even necessarily looking for it, but because it's Wayne, I'm gonna go and listen to it. And I think that takes some of the pressure that was on the Carter 5 off of the table. So it's like it's just going in, and it's just like when you hear it, and it's like going in, it's a great album. It's gonna be like I think it's gonna be more accepted, in my opinion. Um, I think or I hope just because of like the whole um Super Bowl snub and whatnot. I think that Wayne definitely felt like it was time to put out a current album to kind of be current. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And yeah, I don't know if his goal is still to get to that platform, but maybe this album is something that helps get him in the running or the talk abouts for next year.
Is it something, and I'm speaking specifically about a Super Bowl performance or a major award performance, BET, Grammys, whatever? Is that like the pinnacle of an artist's career to reach those platforms and be able to perform on those stages? Or is it just building a great fan base that's supportive, that, helps you ultimately elongate your career?
I think with the Super Bowl, the Super Bowl is kind of different than like a lot of those stages. Just because it's the
It's the highest grossing television program,
highest viewed.
or highest views.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
It's probably is the highest gross because I think like just a commercial.
Yeah, commercials you running 7.5 M's.
So it's the most viewed, in the United States and like around the world. So get on that stage and perform there is gonna be like really in front of the biggest audience, at one time, ever. So I think we only see like the greatest artists go there. So it's like, with Wayne's like, his era, the influence he's had to the game and his longevity, you know, um, I think you would think that it's only right for Wayne to go there, right? And I seen a lot of people was questioning like, some of like the music he had that necessarily didn't fit. It was like, Wayne in 2007 alone did 100. It's 100 plus features. I remember I had it as a Vibe magazine. I still got it to this day. He did over 100 features in 1 year, and these are across all different genres.
Right.
So it's like Wayne could have went up there and did anything and brought out really, next to anybody, to perform with him and align. Then when you see like okay, hip hop is starting to get its presence on that stage, and I guess you would look to seeing like a Little Wayne. I don't feel like I feel like even though he performed with Dr. Dre, I feel like artists like Snoop Dogg and 50 Cent are like big enough to get like their own Super Bowl performance, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like if you will look at those artists and based on what their music was, I think that Wayne is too.
I can't disagree with that, and I also think it's definitely a strategic move because we know artists don't get paid for those Super Bowl performances, but what it is a great marketing tool and push. We've seen Super Bowl performing artists schedule their releases around the time of that show, and it just kind of heightens, their popularity at that time to help boost album sales or album streams. And then they're backing those with now tour dates to create that revenue. So it's definitely a strategic marketing tool. And if we're talking about strategy, like the way that I found out the album dropped was a TikTok post, which was extremely simple. It looks like he's riding in a vehicle. He's looking out the window and he says something to the effect of, "Are y'all ready? It's coming. Carter 3 drops or Carter 6. Why do I keep saying Carter 3?
That's the biggest one.
That's debate. What is the best Carter? I keep, for whatever reason, I've said Carter 3 about 10 times when it's Carter 6. So y'all let us know, what is the best Carter album from Lil Wayne? But anyway, in the ad, he says Carter 6 is coming. Or it's dropping 2 days. Mm-hmm. And just that alone made me go, oh, really? When is... I'm looking at the date of the post, and it's like 2-3 days ago. So I immediately go to my music platform, and first album that pops up, Lil Wayne, Carter 6. So for me, that's gonna segue into, as an independent artist, or not even as an independent artist. No. Now we definitely got to talk about the local scene, because I got a call from an artist earlier today, and I'm sure it was about creating a music video, which, let me put this on record. I'm not against being able to feed my children and taking your money to shoot a music video. But I do challenge artists in, do you really need a music video right now? In 2025, and the shape and the face of hip hop in the marketing spectrum with social media, is a music video the thing that you need first? My answer to that would be no. The first thing an artist needs, from my opinion, is a plan, is a strategic marketing plan that builds up to said music video. Because what is the music video? It's ultimately just a marketing tool. It's a commercial for the record, for one particular record, not your album. If you're working on an album, and you don't have to put out an album, it's 2025. Like, singles are the way to go until you generate enough buzz to say, hey, come listen to my 8, 10, 12 songs, whatever it is. But how do you get to that point? Like, especially if I'm going to put out a CD or I'm going to put out an album. See, my age just took over. If I'm going to put out an album, I haven't released music in a long time. So why do I think just because I now drop this music video that I'm going to generate 10 million streams to it? And that's going to turn into touring dates, merch sales, record sales. Mm-hmm. It's not, in my opinion, it's not, without first having a foundation. So the foundation for me in 2025 is, I need to strategically place myself subconsciously in the back of your mind. So how do we do that? Let's really think about a major record label. Like, and I got to use them as an example, because it's not that I don't like Drake's music, but there were many, many Drake songs that I thought were terrible. However, because of the marketing budget that the record label put behind it, and the repetition that we heard these songs on the radio, if you listen to the radio, or the number of videos that we watched that put this song in the background. Specifically for me, it was the, I don't even remember the name of it, but the Key, Do You Love Me? Are You Riding? Mm-hmm. I thought that song was terrible.
That wasn't even going to be his single. Only reason that was a single was because New York influencer Diggy, he was on the bus, and his girl, and they was doing the dance. Mm-hmm. And when they did the dance, no, they was actually out in the street in New York, and they did the dance. And when the dance, like, video went viral, and that going viral because of that influencer made them like reroute and made that the single. And you seen everybody wanting to hop out their cars and do the.
I remember
You know,
that. I
and
remember that.
it was really the social media and TikTok that kind of helped that song really go up. You
But
know what I'm saying?
that plays into exactly what I'm saying. Even though it might not have been an intentional strategy by Drake or the record label, the momentum that they saw behind it said, okay, let's pivot and make this a single. And then I don't remember what album that was, but I'm sure he generated numbers off of that album because of this song that ultimately, me as a fan, and I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one that said this record is trash. But then again, it goes viral. I don't know what record it was. You can look it up, but I don't know what record it was. So while you do that still, like you need a strategy first. You need a strategy, and then you need to your point, what you just said, the influencer created a video. They made a piece of content that went viral. For us as independent artists, in order to get your song heard, you probably need 20 to 30 pieces of content before you even drop this record.
33.
33? You need 33 pieces of content.
For every single, there's 33 pieces of content.
I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that, because you figure out of those 33 pieces of content, what is the one that's gonna make me want to go and now stream your song, listen to your song? And now we think about like the law of averages. It's 33 pieces of content. Only you're gonna average probably 10%. So it was only 2 to 3 videos of that 33 that we saw that actually made a person say, okay, let me go look this up. Now, for me in the Lil Wayne situation, Wayne's popularity and his already established career, it only took one piece of content for me to spark my interest. But it could be the same for a new artist. They put a major budget into, I'm gonna make sure, what's my Afro beats lady, Tyler?
Yeah.
The Water song?
Uh-huh.
Okay. That record was out for a few years before it hit over here. And now once it hits here, and this is the new wave, Afrobeats is the current sound that they're playing on the radio. An American, I don't remember what label it was, but they went and put like a $4 or $5 million budget behind that song to make it, and now she wins a Grammy for it, I believe. Somebody can check me on that as well. But I believe she won a Grammy for that record. So again, it's the strategy. Like, and then this is the other thing. Because I see we do this. And now I'm specifically talking to Sanford artists. We will put out a record. And devil's advocate, the record is dope. Where was the promotion behind the record? Don't drop the record in May. And then in the middle of May, now I'm putting out another record. What was the push behind the dope record that just came out 2 weeks ago? Like, we got to get out of the habit of put some thought, put some intentionality behind your marketing. Because if you don't, you just saturate me with music is not going to make your fan base grow. It's good to have the body of work, yes, but you got to be able to make something stick.
You got to just really put funds behind it, because we in an era where it may be something that's for you that may not be for me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? One of the formulas that I've seen, and I think a lot of North Carolina artists tried to mimic it, but they didn't really do it to the same effect, was the formula of the Baby. The Baby, literally every song, right before he got signed in 2019, 20, somewhere, that's when he had like the Pack in the Mail is Gone. You know, every song, he did a video for every song. And it was like, it wasn't a song that he had that he didn't have visual to.
We're in a visual age right now. Like, yeah, being able to see it is even bigger than being able to hear it, because we're on our phones every day. So I might not necessarily be on the radio. I might not necessarily get on my streaming platform, but I'm definitely going to jump on Facebook. I'm going to jump on TikTok. I'm going to jump on Instagram. And if you have that that 20 seconds for me to hear, and now I repetitively and keep hearing it, that's going to make me eventually go in. When I open up my Apple Music or my Spotify, I'm going to search for your record. So no, I don't disagree with that at all.
Like even I think with him was like YouTube. You go on YouTube and watch one video, and then if you ain't there quick enough, the next video coming out is the baby. The next one is the baby. You don't went through 5, 6 songs and been like, oh dang, okay. And I know like labels, they want an artist to be like, have like that back work instead. Like remember when we did the interview with Yolo Rue from Fayetteville, he put up the computer, he showed us, he was like, yo, I got 5, 6 albums worth of music already ready for whenever the label call.
Right.
And it's like, ain't necessarily releasing it all, but it's just, he was stacking it up and using it strategically.
He has a plan.
So I think that's the way artists, should definitely move, because you want to put out music that's going to make the following come to you, especially if you're coming from not already having like the following of the base. The baby, I'm still talking about him because his necessarily wasn't even his music. It was that he wore a diaper.
I remember that South by Southwest.
For 2
years. 2016, South by South. Yeah.
He wore a diaper for 2 years. So that was like the major part of his marketing. That was the plan. You know what I'm saying? Because originally his name was Baby Jesus.
Right.
And he ended up, dropping the Jesus, just going by the baby. That was just a part of like the marketing. But before we get too far gone, because I know he's talking about Wayne, right? I want to segue and what you said about that song that In My Feelings was on, the album, the Drake album. You gotta go back and listen to the album. That was a Scorpion album. That was the 2-sided album that Drake had. One was actual like hip hop. And this is probably like the last album that we can hear Drake really like rapping. Even though he did the Scary Hours, but like really rapping, and then he switched over into the R&B. This is, to me, Drake's last fire album. All the other ones has been on the dumbed down, trying to catch the modern day wave. You can listen to it and hear like he got Lil Yachty writing for him and whatnot. That was 2000 and
I don't think I've ever heard. Don't play the song.
I'm not
gonna say don't play the song because they might clip us for that. We ain't got that label's backing. But I can honestly say I can't tell you the last time I listened to a full Drake project.
Yeah, 2018.
But I do remember the Scorpion album. Yeah,
this right here is literally, to me, I think it was his last album on Cash Money. Because after that, whenever Wayne got out of his deal from being under Cash Money, originally Drake and Nicki was still on Cash Money, and once they fulfilled like their contract, they both, they're just under Universal.
Gotcha.
Yeah, man, you gotta go back and listen to the Scorpion album, man. My cousin gonna watch this. He's gonna clip this clip out. He's I'm a Drake lover.
Hey, we like who we like. I never said Drake made bad music. I just said I didn't like that song. I thought it was trash. I have never said Drake made bad music. Drake has made a lot of good songs. I have listened to a lot of Drake's music. But I definitely agree with you that for relevance, sometimes we jump on waves. I need to catch this fad. I have an established fan base. And this will allow me to, quote unquote, put out a trash record just to stay relevant, to stay in front of you until I get back to my next big hit.
I think we always got to listen to the music objectively anyway, because when you see the machine behind it and they constantly pushing it, it's a lot of programming going into that.
True indeed.
You could not like a song, but as soon as you hop in the car, every hour on the top of the hour, here go the song again. Like it's 15 other songs we could have heard that was new.
If they don't know, radio programming, there is a top 40. This is a real thing. There's a top 40, but then you have 12 popular songs that they play in rotation every single hour.
I remember I was in Connecticut when, speaking of Drake, the One Dance song, whenever that song came out, by the time I was in Connecticut for maybe like 3-4 days, by the time I came back, I did not want to hear that song. They played it every radio station, Hot 97, the Connecticut radio stations. Every time I turned, I could turn the station from one station because that song was on, As soon as I get to the other one, the same songs on are about to come on.
It's the same thing here.
Yeah.
It is the exact same thing here. Once they catch that popular song, if you listen to the radio, yeah, you will hate it. You will absolutely hate it because they're gonna wear out whatever the new trendy song is. That's why you can't listen to the radio because we have. I'm not even gonna say it. I'm not even gonna say it.
We've talked about this in the past.
Yeah. I'm not even gonna say it. I'm not even gonna say it. But it's Moving on. But yeah, it's a strategy. Like the music video was good. I definitely love shooting music videos. I want to shoot your music video. I just think a deeper conversation needs to be had before you get to the point of a music video. You need to figure out the structure, the scheduling, the marketing behind your project in order to reach that potential that a great record will have. Because really, it's not a great record. It's a great idea until you get everybody else to believe that it's a great record.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think that before artists should segue into wanting to do like videos or anything like that, you should go and sit down with somebody and get a consultation done. You know, even with, Trail, you should come in and sit down with him and be like, hey, I got the song. I got a few ideas. How much for me to have a consultation with you? And then y'all can sit down, y'all can do the consultation, and y'all can talk about everything. You can give them advice, and then if it makes sense, then y'all can come up with a treatment. I think that's the wave that we got to start moving. We got to start moving like, with you got to be more than just an artist. You got to be a brand.
facts.
It's like your artist name, that's a brand. Everything should be, what I'm saying, really LLC, EIN, all that type of stuff like that. And when you start moving according like that, you just structure yourself better. And I think you can see more elevation. That's just my opinion,
I don't agree. I don't disagree with that at all. And I'm gonna add to that, like, we have to change the mindset behind the music first of all, because I think in a lot of situations we're just looking to make music because we like to make music. We don't look at it as a business yet, because when you think about it as a business, that's when you have these conversations. I know I need X amount of dollars for the budget. I know I need to create X amount of pieces of content. I know I need to get with a videographer, or I need to link up with a DJ. I need to network overall, period. I need to network in order to get my record to the next level. Like, we got to start looking at it as a business. And something that you brought up before we actually started the show was you definitely have to have more than one egg in the basket. Like, we've heard many times, you need 7 sources of income, 7 streams of revenue. For an artist, it's no different. So I know on the last pod we talked about Beyonce and Janet Jackson and the Levi's thing, and going into clothing and fashion and all of these other outlets. Like, you need more than, it's got to be more than just the music that's going to make you that household name. But you got excited when I said J and B.
Not even necessarily the Janet versus the Beyonce, right? In the last episode, the last pod, we basically mentioned the original post that, when I had said something about the numbers of Beyonce and Rihanna.
Mm-hmm.
I went back and I was looking at comments that were on the
on that short.
On the short, right? And it was just a few of these comments that, the whole thing don't want to come up on my phone right now. Let me jump to our page. I was on my page.
Now, as you get into these, let's just remember that opinions are buttholes. Everybody has one.
Yeah. It was just a few of the comments where people was like, "Yo, this guy must be under a rock. Like, what is he talking about? Like, talking about like the numbers and type of stuff like that." Me myself, just because numbers don't lie. Numbers don't lie.
In 2025, is this still true? Sometimes numbers do lie. Go ahead with your point. I'll come back to that, but go ahead with your point.
So basically, I said that when it come to like, the overall numbers internationally. We talking about internationally, not nationally. In the States, Rihanna is not from the States, first off. And she hasn't put out an album in who knows when. I can't even think of her last album. But I just pulled up some of the numbers, right? And these numbers, a lot of Beyonce numbers, when people look at the numbers, they're including Destiny's Child numbers. If you take Destiny's Child numbers off of the table, right? This is record sales, album sales, digital streams, and then UK sales, right? So when it comes to record sales, Beyonce has 285 million record sales. That's her solo by herself. Rihanna has 250 million, right? So Beyonce has more overall record sales than Rihanna, but like I said, Rihanna hasn't released the album
Since
record
Anti in 2016.
in 2016. So in over 9 years, Rihanna has not released the album, and Beyonce only has 35 million more than what she has. So if we go back 10 years ago and erase some of these Beyonce albums, total album sales, they're both sitting at 42 million total album sales. Record is for the individual track, albums is the whole total thing. When it comes to digital sales and streaming, Beyonce, these are current numbers. Beyonce has 164 million total digital sales and streaming. Rihanna has 258 million. When it comes to UK sales, right? And this is what I said internationally, that she's not seeing her. Beyonce has 39.53 million UK sales, while Rihanna has 61.3 million. Now, when it comes to Grammys, Beyonce has won more Grammys than any artist in history. And Rihanna has 5. Has 9, my bad. And then their net worth, Beyonce is like 8 million, while Rihanna is 1.4. But when we go talking about the sales, and like I said, internationally, the UK sales, Beyonce has 39.53 million and Rihanna has 61.3. So for all the people that were saying I'm under a rock, I think I need to go and you know what I'm saying, do some research.
And I just want to verify something you said. You just said Rihanna's net worth is 1.4.
Yeah, 1.4 billion. Is that what you got there? It might have went up.
I definitely think that is too low of a number, because it says the net worth of her Fenty Beauty line is 1.4. So this is excluding anything musical.
Mm-hmm.
And then Fenty Beauty is the makeup. Does that count the clothing line as well? What is the clothing line? Savage Fenty? So no, that's yeah. And then Savage is another billion, so that's 2.4 right there. So no. That's just the fashion and makeup. She's at 2.4. And then if you added in whatever she's generated off of music, yeah. So I'm not gonna argue with you.
I just, I was just seeing a lot of comments, and a lot of times whenever I make comments, I step out of the personal. I don't try to make it personal.
Yeah, absolutely.
I literally try to speak from what the factual information is. Even like on the last pod when we talked about Janet and Beyonce, you were like, who's the better singer? Beyonce. Like, Beyonce, I'm more of a Janet Jackson fan because I grew up on the Jacksons.
Facts.
I was the 7th member of the Jackson 5 in my mind. You know what I'm saying? So
Facts.
I grew up on that, and it's just like I could be honest where when we talking about truth and you know what I'm saying, I could take my personal, opinion, out of it. It's, certain things we can't run from. Now, like you said, some of the streaming stuff like that, we know they got these bots and they got these machines and all that type of stuff like that. So even if we was to exclude just the digital streams, which it said that Rihanna had at least 100 million over what Beyonce had. If we was to even exclude them, she still has better UK sales than these are album sales. Still has better UK sales than what Beyonce has. And that's no shade, you know what I'm saying? It's just some of the people in the comments, you know what I'm saying? You
Yeah,
know,
we just want to speak to that.
Yeah,
That's it.
That's it. You know, one of them was my guy Town Ave. You feel me? Hey, look at them numbers, bro. Look at them numbers. I think his was the top one. I'm like, dang, man. Dang. You know?
I'm not mad at it. But speaking of that, we're talking about, you mentioned bots. Something very interesting came across my feed, which is, and I knew about it, so I definitely want to take a moment and speak about it. But 2025, we know we are absolutely in a digital age. Artificial intelligence has came a long way. I remember seeing a post from Timbaland when he was in the studio talking about AI actually finishing a track or writing some lyrics or something to that effect.
Mm-hmm.
So, what do you think music will look like in the future? Or do you think there is an opportunity for artificial intelligent artists to be created? I'm asking this question specifically because we have a partner that has started a record label called Catfish Records and has released an album from his AI artist, J Virtual. Now, every song is personally written by our guy, Marcus McCain. So shout out to Marcus, shout out to Raising Cane Productions, Raising Cane clothing line, who has been a longtime sponsor of OnSight Media Group. So y'all make sure y'all hit that website, check out his clothes. He actually has some dope stuff. But sticking with the music, J Virtual. So Marcus has written these records. I remember having a conversation with him. He found an old notebook, some ideas that he had started on that he never had the chance to finish. And after, the virtual thing came out, Marcus is an extremely intelligent guy, got heavy into the coding. So he was, can I put something together? And after much trial and error, like, he started sending me some records to preview. And I think I shared the actual album preview with you. Some of these records is fire.
Oh yeah, dope.
Like,
dope.
So again, and he has not been shy about it. Like, he's not human, but I think that's the tagline. He's not human, but the soul is real. Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think? Like, is this a real thing? Can this become tangible for AI artists or AI music to become popular?
Because everything is like, I guess, digital and we all online and whatnot, I think it can definitely be a lane. I don't know, outside of like the fans, like listening to it when it comes to the industry, I don't know how long it will take for the industry to really like pull it in, because I know it was like a lot of AI songs that were coming out that I've heard like full albums by like, like AI Snoop Dogg or Drake, and just different ones, and fire. But I know when it came to like getting like nominated for Grammys and stuff like that, like these songs, they couldn't legitly like put them out. I think what it ultimately take is for somebody to come in along and creating like the lane, like maybe doing like a AI music awards or something like that. And once you create that lane and it's able to really be monetized, you know what I'm saying? I think that's when like the industry will really try to tap in to what's really like going on with it. But I think it definitely has a ways to go to get there. Definitely, the the songs from, what's the artist's name?
J Virtual.
J Virtual.
J Virtual.
You know,
the album is Velvet Coated, I believe. And I definitely want to make sure I have this correct, so I'm gonna look it up. But yes,
was it
Coated Velvet Coated?
It's Coated something. It's definitely voted code.
No, Velvet Coated. J
Okay.
Virtual.
Okay. When I first was listening to it, before I watched the video, first thing that kind of came in my mind, I was like, you know, a person may look at this and deem it as catfish, right? And when I went and looked at the video, I was just like, oh, great name for the record label. I think that was because basically what it does is, if anybody has, like, the way I thought, like, the music sounded great, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, as artists, people are gonna think, well, where can I see this artist in? And it's ways you can even do that. Like, you know, you can have green screens and have whole concerts and stuff like that. I think that can happen, but I think the lane has to really be expanded and pushed out. I think once it gets there, it's gonna go. But like when I seen the record label name, I was like, oh, anybody that you make everybody put their foot in their mouth. You can't even call it out for that no more because it's very direct and clear.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I think, you know, on Marcus' behalf, I think like how everything's put together, I think it's genius.
He's already released music videos, the whole 9 yards.
Still here is hard.
Yeah, dope record.
Still here is
And
very much hard.
as I go and make sure I'm saying the proper title of the album, he sends me a post, and this is while we're podcasting, and I brought up Timbaland. Post says Timbaland officially signs his first AI artist, Tata, the A-pop artificial pop singer, to his new AI record label, Stage Zero, that will combine human input and AI to create new genres of music. Her debut single will be dropping soon.
Okay.
So this is, I think this almost answers the question, like, is this a real thing? Now you have a music icon, a producer GOAT that is fully on board with the AI movement.
I seen Timbaland take it was a clip of Krishana Rock, like sort of kind of singing, and he ran it through like the AI, and it literally, like, definitely this is probably like gonna be the new wave of what auto-tuning is, because it literally put it in, and all the imperfections in her voice, it filled in certain words, and it just made it like where it was dope, you know. So I think, you know, Timbaland is a part of the industry. So when we start seeing it move forward like that, you know, you said Marcus just sent you that?
He just sent it to me.
He got a camera in here watching it
He just sent it to me. No, so I did let him know that we was gonna talk about the album today. So I gotta read this while we're on air. The message that he sends after the post. And these are the words directly from my guy Marcus. It says, when I started the process, I heard Tim had started using similar software, and it was kind of validating. When I had started selecting tracks for the EP, he had a contest with a $50K prize, and I knew something in the months would follow. In the months to come. So I was pressed to drop first because he'll bring exposure, but I didn't want anyone saying I was following in his footsteps. Although I am eager to hear what he's put together. So we're here to say it first. Marcus McCain, Catfish Records, J Virtual. He did it first.
That's a fact.
Let's just clear there.
That's a fact of
Catfish Records, Marcus McCain, he did it first. But this is a real thing.
Oh yeah, the songs is, you know, and if that's Marcus pen, crazy, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah, I've definitely been in the studio with Marcus. He's actually helped me write a couple songs that I have yet to put out. He's definitely a very, very talented writer. I just think it was with his work schedule, that work-life balance, he didn't necessarily have the time to do it himself. I think I seen someone asked him that, like, why not just sing the songs yourself? Okay, well, maybe I can't give it the presence or the sound that it quite needed.
Mm-hmm.
But in building this code, it hit the mark every single time.
Mm-hmm.
So no, I'm with you now. I can't wait to hear the full project. I haven't heard the complete project, but I've heard at least 6-7 songs.
Mm-hmm.
And it's definitely some joints. I've heard some slow R&B records that I might have to put in my bedroom playlist with me and my wife. Like he got some heat.
Mm-hmm.
He got some heat. So we sit and talk about it.
And that's just one of the things also about like, like AI, while AI is a machine, the soul comes from the person who's ever behind it. The person that's utilizing the machine. So it very much has, real feeling. It's a dope project from what I've heard. You know what I'm saying? Dope project.
Yeah. So again, Velvet Coated, J Virtual. Y'all make sure y'all go to your Spotify, your Apple Music, YouTube, wherever you listen to your music, and check out this project from my guy Marcus McCain, Raising Cane Productions, Catfish Records.
So we can be getting J Coded on, OnSight.
Yeah, we've already talked about that. We've already talked about having the interview with not Marcus, but J Coded.
Mm-hmm.
Well, J Virtual. The album is Velvet Coated. Yeah. Let's say this right. J Virtual. Mm-hmm. We have discussed having the interview with J Virtual on the OnSight Media Group or on the OnSight platform. So y'all stay tapped in for that.
Definitely stay tapped in for that.
It's been an amazing conversation today. Cash, what you got? What's the lasting word?
I don't know, man. I don't necessarily got anything, man. I don't know. It's gonna come to me,
It's gonna come to you, but
you already.
This is what I got, man. I've been going hard, and I got a bunch of business ideas running through my head, and you can never let the secret out too early. Mm-hmm. But juicing has become a big part of my life. Like, people probably can't look at me and tell it I'm not dramatically overweight. Not that anyone is, but health is definitely wealth. You must pay attention to your health, pay attention to the things that you put into your body. We also discussed this on a pod a couple weeks ago. But my wife has this, I don't know what kind of juicer it is, but I started juicing probably COVID 2020, somewhere around there. And it has become a major thing. I think it's is it Styles P from the Locks? One of the members of the Locks Styles P has the juice bar. So definitely my wife has been going very hard in creating or looking up and making these juices to where I don't even buy orange juice. I don't drink juice out of the store anymore. Like, it tastes different. So again, I've said it many times, grow your own food, make your own juice. Mm-hmm. You go eat the fruit, get this nutrients in you to where you know what it is. Mm-hmm. You also brought up, some of the foods that we might be going to the grocery store and buying, having the recalls, and we don't necessarily know if it's healthy or not. Mm-hmm. But I can guarantee you this: if I grew it, I know what it is. Mm-hmm. If I made it, I know what it is. So we got plenty of local farmers. We got a bunch of strawberry farms in the area. I personally know someone who has citrus trees, which is probably hard to find in North Carolina, but I know someone in my area, not far from where I live, that has citrus trees, lemons, oranges, tangerines. Oh, it is amazing. Okay. It is amazing. So again,
I know that takes
health
a lot
is wealth.
in this area.
It takes a lot.
Grow them. Yes,
it takes a lot. She has an entire, like, her farm is crazy. All types of apples and a bunch of fruits and vegetables. But yeah, I had to help her move the citrus trees once. And the way she did it is, and I mean like literal trees, but she has them in these containers that are on wheels. So when she needed to pull them in for the wintertime, she has an enclosed garden area. Okay. So she can still continue to keep her trees healthy. So Yeah, I'm not giving up my resources. And if you know, you know. Some people know, but yeah, the juice is all natural.
It's definitely
Grow your own
way.
foods, make your own juice, buy you a juicer, prolong your life. That's all I got.
For me, I think my final words would be don't be afraid to step out of the box. You know, more so recently, um, over the past few months or so, I've been working to try to, you know, to get back into doing events, wanting to bring uh a event to, like, you know, my local area, and I was just met with so many different roadblocks, and I had to make the executive decision: do I not do the event, or do I take it somewhere else? And just with taking it somewhere else, it actually opened up a lot of more opportunities and brought actually more growth to what I'm organizing and putting together. And I think sometimes when we can get stuck, you know, on the local area and wanting the support from the people that we may know, and a lot of times is, you know, you got to step out and go elsewhere and really catch the growth, and then maybe in the future you could come back home. But just don't be afraid to step out of your box, out of your comfort zone. Um, and that's really it. That's all I got.
Facts, facts. We gotta be comfortable with going outside. If we only look at where we are, then we limit ourselves.
Mhm.
And that's the last thing we want to do. Beautiful, beautiful words. As always, we appreciate y'all for tuning in. Continue to tap in with us. We're gonna continue to bring you more content for the culture, more thoughtful conversations. And if it's something specifically that y'all want to know, y'all need to hear us talk about, let us know that. Drop it down in the comments. And until next time, y'all be easy.